A few years ago when I was living in Medellín, I went with a couple buddies to go watch the Champions League final. And it was the year that Spurs and Liverpool were playing against each other. The kickoff in Medellín from memory was like mid afternoon. It was like 3 p.m. And so we decided to go to this popular sports bar, which kind of had some outdoor seating and some big screens outdoors. And so we sat down, and I can't remember who had the weed brownies, if it was me or a buddy, but me and one other dude who was there had the brownies. And so the game starts. We had a couple drinks and didn't feel anything for like 20 minutes. And they started to kick in, and they were far stronger than I was expecting them to be. I was kind of like, had an empty stomach and I was on the beer. So it just like hit me like a ton of bricks. And I went from like zero paranoia to 100 in a millisecond. And I remember just being there, being like, okay, you've done it again. You're in public. You are incredibly paranoid. You're you've put yourself in a very vulnerable position, and this is not the first time. Pretty sure the last time you had brownies, you felt the same way, and the time before, and the time before that. Yet you keep doing it. And so, yeah, anyway, the rest of the time just became an extreme. The rest of the game just became an ordeal where it was like, okay, everyone can tell that you're acting super fucking strange. Just be, just keep it together. Sip your beer every couple minutes. I was paranoid because we'd picked this place where you're apparently allowed to sit there and use their seating, and you could bring your own beer, which we'd done. But I was like, no, this is 100% not cool. The manager's going to come out soon and tell you off. So I started like ordering a cocktail, probably as a way to try and kind of like balance it out with more alcohol, but also just being like, yeah, as a ploy to kind of like buy us time because the manager was gonna like fucking come out with a knife or something. I'd have to excuse myself every 15 minutes to go use the bathroom and take some deep fucking breaths in the mirror. And so anyway, it was a multi-hour experience, really strong brownies, and finally tape it off. And anyway, went home eventually. And the next day, I was chatting with my buddy, the other guy who's more of a professional stoner than I was. Um, and I was like, yeah, dude, yesterday on those brownies, I was fucked up. I was convinced everyone could tell that I was high as fuck, and I was just trying to maintain the whole time. And he's like, "Oh, dude, are you serious? You seemed completely normal to me." Which I took as a major victory because I was like, yeah, I was hanging on by a fucking thread. And it's weird because there is that precedent there. There is that I know that's what marijuana does to me, especially when I eat it. Yet I've done it so many times. And I think that it's a strange thing where it's like, what is the thrill getting high, or is the thrill maintaining? And at a certain point, at least for me, it's like the thrill became more about like just acting normal, getting high as what a perverse thing to want to do, to get high as fuck and to feel your reality getting completely warbled and fucked up inside your head, but then just not allowing that to translate to how you speak or how you act. So just like there's this fucking psychedelic circus happening within inside your head, and then you're just like, yeah, how you doing? Yeah, I think I might get the chicken palm, and yeah, I'll finish this and then I'll get another beer. When inside your head it's just kind of like, explosions and then underwater explorations and stuff. And maybe it's got something to do with the fact the first time that happens when you're a young Padawan, it is just so fucking confronting. You feel like you're in a Avatar sequel, and you do look for support. You confide in a friend or something, or you just leave. You're like, I'm fucking freaking out. and the paranoia wins. And so there is almost like this, I'm trying to claw back some credibility to be like, now I can handle it, even though no one really gives a fuck. And also maybe just it's kind of like it's a weird, maybe I'm just bored of the actual standard socializing. They're kind of like, yeah, let's go out for a few drinks and watch a game, and then we'll go to this place to eat dinner, and then we'll like go check out this club afterwards. It's like, I've done that so many times. My subconscious is like, well, why don't you completely impair yourself whilst you're doing that, so that you've got your own fucking tough mudder that you're going through psychologically, that will make the standard uh you know nightlife socializing slightly more interesting, because you're basically fighting this uh David and Goliath internal battle. And yeah, there's and that fucking Tame Impala song, Solitude is Bliss, the lyric, there's a party in my head and nobody's invited. The part of the thrill is kind of like just pretending that you're completely normal, like not letting anyone into the in in on the fact that you're completely fucked up. Is that normal? Do you do that? Let me know in the comments. Let's share our experiences. Cuz yeah, I find that that's pretty standard for me. I don't do it very often, but when I do eat weed and go out in public, that generally happens. So, yeah, that's me.